Can I share the screen?
Just a second, sir.
I'm not getting that share symbol here.
Okay, sir.
Good morning to everybody.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, dear friends.
Good morning, sir.
I'm here to extend a warm welcome to the distinguished guests, participants, the promoters, and the well-wishers of the Faculty Development Program, organized by the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Jyoti Engineering College, Thrissur, in association with SAE India and Kisha Research and Education Trust, Bangalore. This FTP focuses the importance on recent trends in product development. I take this opportunity to introduce you to two subject expertise, Mr. Joseph V.A., Director, Kisha Research and Education Trust, Bangalore, and Mr. Shiju George, Founder, Kisha Research and Education Trust, Bangalore, who have technical and professional touch in new trends in the industry. Without much introduction, we extend warm welcome in the name of this assembly and the prestigious institution, Jyoti Engineering College, Thrissur. The success of this program is the active participation of the delegates. We extend a warm welcome to all the delegates assembled here. Our first session will be handled by Mr. Joseph Sir. I hand over to the session to Joseph Sir.
Can I share the screen?
Yes, sir.
But I am not getting that share the screen.
Right bottom, there is one option, sir, presentation.
Presentation. Present now.
Yes. There is three options.
Yeah. Entire screen. Window.
A window. Please select a window.
A window.
Then select your PPT.
Okay. Can you see?
No, sir. No. Yes, sir. No, sir. So right bottom, one option, present now. Then select middle option, that is a window.
Yeah.
Second option.
Okay. I got it. I think you can see now.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, shall we start? Good
Yes,
morning, everybody. So today's first subject is trends in modern product design. I am from Bangalore. I am Joseph. Actually, I have around 35 years of experience in this line. So I'm happy to welcome you all for this session. Let us start with these trends in modern product design. The product design sequence generally consists of few things. The first one is defining end use requirements. That means what you want, you have to define first. What is the function of the product, where it is being used, on what temperature it is used, etc. Second is create preliminary concept sketch. Before you go into CAD details, you have to make a concept sketch to evaluate, or you can discuss it among your people, other experts, and the concept is verified. Then we have to go for initial material selection. This material selection depends upon the product, what type of material you want to select. According to, you have to select the process also. It can be plastic, it can be sheet metal, it can be any other materials, or altogether it will be a complete assembly of many components. Then you can design the part in accordance with the material properties. So you must always learn ahead what should be the part specifications you require, whether this particular material is able to fulfill it. So you can also deal with the material supplier and get the specifications and make sure it will be able to perform the function. Next, you finalize the material. After you go for a few selection criteria, you can finalize the material depending upon the function, cost, delivery, all those things. Then you can go for modification of the design for manufacturing. For this, we are using a DFMA format. DFMA is, we are going to go in deep design for manufacturing and assembly. Next, we can have a prototyping. This prototyping can be nowadays 3D printing, etc., or it can be a machined part, or any other methods you can use, available methods. After prototyping, we will go and check the function test. So functionally, if it is okay, then we can go for tooling. To make the part, we can make a tools. If it is a sheet metal parts, we can make press tools, or if it is molds, depending upon the mold, compression mold, injection mold, thermoforming, or whatever mold, accordingly we can go for the tooling. Then is the production. So once the tooling prototyping is confirmed, and if you are able to get a good product, we can go for a production tool and start production. These are the product sequence roughly we are following. If anybody is having doubts in between, please let me know so that I can clarify in there itself. So for product design, there are few basic principles. Our product should be an excellent product. So while designing an excellent product, we have to follow these principles. I'm not going to tell or list out all the things, but whichever is critical, we will list it out. So let us start with the first one. Reduce the number of parts in an assembly. So if possible, suppose you have an assembled part. See, if you look at this picture, you can see a 3-piece wood and steel cloth pin. You can see one spring in between and 2 wooden frames. So if you are making these 3 pieces, you have to have a lot of production cost, then again assembly cost. So the designer must be able to reduce the number of parts so that the production cost can be minimized. So can this assembly be replaced by a single piece in a molded design using a plastic? Can anybody think about that? Okay. So anyway, now because of the time constraint, I will just explain it. So a new or a good product designer will think about this, and he can something like this he can design. It is an integral part, one piece injection molded cloth clip, two sections connected by an integral spring, and it is assembled at the pivot point after molding. To illustrate it better, I'll give you a 3D. See, it will be something like this. So from 3 pieces, we have just combined to 1 piece. So we can see the integral part spring here at the left extreme, and here inductor, this two will be clipped in. So once it is clipped in, this will function as a clip. So this is one way we can reduce the number of parts. Only a simple piece I have just shown. So a product designer should think of this, how to reduce the cost by compiling many parts into one. So while doing that, he must make sure that it will take the load. So uniform cross section, H cross section is given here for giving sufficient strength for this particular clip. Next, once you design a part, you should not just sit idle. We should continuously improve at a faster cycle. See, if you look at these pictures, the first one is a metal. All time we were using this type of sprays, water sprays, spray guns. And from there, it has been improved. Initially, it was metal. From there, it is improved to plastics. So here to here, we can reduce cost, because compared to metal, plastic is less costly, and also the weight will be less. From here, we are improving. Here we have many pieces here and many complicated things for spray. Here we are improving by using a knob here. So like that, a continuous improvement should be in the mind of all the product designers. Especially when we use reverse engineering, we are using this type of principles. I think you must have been hearing about reverse engineering in depth. So once we have a product, and if we want to produce the similar product, we will take the measurements of that, and we will go and produce the same in our own way. Slight modifications or improvements will be made so that it can attract the markets. Of course, it also should be competitive in costing. The plastic hose nozzle on the right has been developed with little influence from the metal product. Can we identify the improvement? I think I have already told you what all are the improvements we made. Number of parts we reduced. From metal, we went to plastics, and from plastics again we went to single piece or one or two pieces without much assembly involvement. Second principle a modern designer should think about is develop a modular design. The use of modules in product design simplifies manufacturing activities such as inspection, testing, assembly, purchasing, redesign, maintenance, service, and so on. So each modules can be a separate one, then we can assemble it. So if one module is giving you a problem, we just replace with that particular module. We need not go and condemn the everything. One reason is that modules add versatility to product, update, in the redesign process. Suppose you want to improve the product, we can just change one particular module and improve it all. So a product designer should be thinking this in front. And it helps run test before the final assembly. And finally, it can allow to use standard components to minimize product variations. So this is the second principle a lead designer should follow, that is develop a modular design. Next one is to use standard components. Wherever possible, we should not involve in manufacturing components which can be purchased ready-made. Say for example, screws, dowels, or whatever things, which is available ready-made, or even the housings of certain things. It may be readily available. If you want to manufacture, it will time consuming and also the cost will increase. And we should always think about value added production in our in-house, so that all these standard components can be made use. See, whenever they are using standard components, when they are producing standard components, they are doing it in mass production. Whenever we are making one or two of such things, we are actually doing one. We should get tools, we should find a proper machinery, so it will be very difficult. So that is the third principle. When anybody design a particular product, always use standard components. Next is design parts to be multifunctional. Here, multifunctional parts reduce the total number of parts in a design, thus obtaining the benefit of rule number 1, that is, number of parts are reduced if it is made for multifunction. Example, a part of a act as both an electric conductor and as a structural member, or as a heat dissipating element and as a structural member. Or there can be elements that besides that principle of function, having aiding, aligning, or self-fixturing features. We can include in that, so that we can reduce the number of parts in that. The fifth principle is design parts for multi-use. See, if you look at our modern world, you can see similar products with slight improvements or slight modifications. So if the same thing can be made into or same kind of things can be used into different products, then that may be, say for example, if you are looking at a car, a particular model of car, a Maruti. If it is a Maruti 800 or Maruti Omni or Maruti Swift or what, many parts they are using for multi-use inside there. So we have to think about such things so that it will be readily available. You may not have to go for making a new tooling for producing that particular part. That is why it is very much important for a designer to go for designs with a multi-purpose. The sixth principle, what you have to see, is design for ease of fabrication. So once you start making a particular product, please think that you are able to produce it fast and easily with our locally available resources. If something very complicated designs if you make, then it may not be possible to produce in-house or in India, or you may have to import things. So that will be a problem. So this is a very important one, design for ease of fabrication. So the machinery, suppose you have a factory and you are going to produce a particular product. Maximum, if you can use in-house machineries, then you can utilize it and you can get more profit out of it. So that is why when any designer is designing any product, please remember that design for ease of fabrication should be a principle. Avoid separate fasteners. So if 3-4 parts to be assembled together, 1 to 2 to 2 to 3 3 to 4, like that. If you are start assembling, then it will be a lot of problems in assembly. That means it will take a long time, and also you have to make a lot of fasteners in that particular assembly. Instead of that, if it is possible, you can combine it. After stacking it, you assemble it with the same fastener itself. So that will be good. And we can also avoid fasteners by using snap fits. If you look at all our modern products, like a mobile phone, cover, etc., you can see that it is all snap fit. You just press it, it will get fitted in the top and bottom of the frame. So such things we have to use more often instead of using screws and assembling. Minimize assembly directions. Suppose you have many directions in assembly, all parts should be assembled from one direction if possible. The best way to add parts is from above in a vertical direction, because it will be easy for an operator to do that. Suppose you are putting assemblies from side, from at an angle, all this will add time. Time means money. So in a vertical direction, parallel to the gravitational direction, downwards. Otherwise, sometimes while you are trying to assemble, the screw can fall down easily. So that is why this principle is being used widely in product design. The effects of gravity help the assembly process, contrary to having to compensate for its effect when other directions are chosen. If you are using other directions, you may have to use certain jigs and fixtures. That means it is going to add cost for your product. So that is why a modern designer should use this principle of minimizing assembly directions. Now, maximize compliances. Example of part built-in compliance features include tapers or chamfers and moderate radius sizes to facilitate insertion. Suppose you want to put two parts together. So if one part is having a small entry chamfer, it can go in easily. Or certain areas, the dimension is slightly lower than the hole size, then it can go in easily. So these things should be there in the product designer's mind. For assembly process, selection of a rigid base part, tactile sensible capabilities, and vision system are example of compliance. One more is there. This is the 10th one, minimize handling. So suppose you have a lot of processes in between to assemble the entire product. You try to minimize it. You can use a conveyor or any other method, and it will be easy for it to go from one station to next station, do something else, then go to the next one. Handling consists of positioning, orienting, and fixing a part of component. To facilitate orientation, symmetrical parts should be used wherever possible. If it is not possible, then the asymmetry must be exaggerated to avoid failures. This is called foolproofing. Nowadays, we don't use foolproofing. We will call it as operator proofing, because it is not nice to call a human being a fool or anything. So the term foolproofing is being obsolete. Use external guiding features to help the orientation of a part. If it is external guiding, we can see it. If you are putting something inside to guide while assembling, it will be easy for assembly. It will be difficult for assembly in case if it is internal. The subsequent operations should be designed so that the orientation of the part is maintained. You can, this modular designing, what modular assembly sections can be in sequence. After one assembly, which is going for the next one, that should be near to that. So the handling and minimize movement also, so that confusions can be avoided. Select alternative material. This we have seen in the number of parts. Itself also I have used the same, but here also we can just visually see this from metal to plastics. So the important thing in this case is, one is the cost of the part will be reduced. Of course, the metal component will be more costly. Suppose it is an aluminum structure. Aluminum is costly. And if it is plastics, nowadays plastics are very cheap. And plastics can be given more strength by adding fibers and etc. So many methods are there. So, and also number of parts also can be reduced alternatively. So select alternative material is very important. You can see nowadays they are using fiber, carbon fiber and all for making these car bodies. Some are using, like high-end cars, they are using aluminum to reduce the weight so that it can fly. It can go very fast with the ease, less petrol consumption, etc. Consider recycling possibilities. I don't know whether you know this. If you are using plastics, production of plastics, we always use this type of symbols. You know, for recycling of the plastics, you must have seen people are collecting the old plastics and selling it somewhere. So these plastics, if you look at, there will be symbols like this. So each symbol denotes to one particular material. So number one, if you see, it is PET, polyethylene terephthalate. Most of our bottles are made from polyethylene terephthalate. HDPE, polyethylene high density. That will be denoted by 2. LDPE, low density polyethylene is 4, polypropylene is 5, polystyrene is 6. And all these, because all our household items, which is being used, around 60 to 70% of plastics are being used to make household items or our general purpose things. So once it become waste, then they can collect it, segregate it by seeing this symbol. That's why recycling possibilities we have to see when we are going to produce or make a design. Select the most suitable process. I'm going to explain you many processes. So if you want to make one particular product, you have to select the suitable process. So it is the duty of the product designer to mention what type of process he is going to make. If it is a metal, he should go for a metal stamping method or metal kind of. We cannot go for, of course, like molding. Metal molding is available, but it is very, very costly. So depending upon the products and its shape and its feasibility, we have to go for the process. So let us see what all are the processes involved. Sometimes castings. See, most of the motor bodies, all are castings, die castings, forgings, a spanner, etc. That is being produced by forging methods. Machining, simple components. What we are seeing is like a screws, etc. It is a machine components or dowels or whatever. Standard components are given in machine. Molded plastic parts. Plastic parts are being manufactured by molding. There are many types of moldings, like injection molding, compression molding, roto molding, blow molding, etc. Injection molding is the parts whatever you are seeing in front of you, like a mouse or a body of your laptop or whatever. All these things, or a telephone or the mobile phone, everything is being made by plastic molded parts. That is injection molding. So thermoplastics, usually we will do injection molding. Thermoset plastic, usually we do compression molding. I think you know what is thermoplastic and thermoset plastics. Thermoset plastics cannot be recycled. Once it is set, that will be like that only. So it is very strong, but it is not so good for recycling. Then sheet metal parts can be done by sheet metal stamping methods, pressure die castings, 3D printing or latest technologies, laser printing or whatever way you can produce or manufacture this component. Our aim is to cut cost, make it very fast, because a new model will be coming very fast. If you are waiting for a more than few days, then your competitor will go and release the new product in the markets, so that you will be losing. So many companies are shutting down for such reasons. Use principles of DFMA. DFMA refers to design for manufacturing and assembly. I'm going to say a little extra about this, because modern manufacturing and designing a product should go through DFMA. A product may be a single component, machine component, or a combination or assembled components, like maybe a laptop. It is an assembled component. So many components we are assembling and getting a product, or a mobile phone, or a TV. So design for assembly or DFA matters. So design for manufacturing, design for assembly. So let us see one by one. In assembly, joining, addition of parts or completed product, just now we have seen there are many methods by which we can do that. So when you look at this graph, you can see it is, when it is like a triangle, that means components. When you see the area of component, it is more. So many components are being used for sub-assemblies, and many sub-assemblies are used for assemblies. When it comes to assembly, there will be only one part. Sub-assemblies may be few parts, components may be many more parts. So it is like that. Objectives of DFMA, design for manufacturing and assembly. Simplifying product structure, reduce manufacturing and assembly cost, quantify manufacturing and assembly difficulties, estimate tool cost to help negotiation with suppliers, improve product quality. So these are the 5 I have just listed out, but many more may be there. Whichever is significant, I just mentioned it. Let us see the other one, mantra of Japanese product success. If you look at the Japanese products, it will be compact, and most of the Japanese products are world-class products. World-class means it can be combined, or it can be compete anywhere in the world. It is a very good product they are making, and it will be a very, very small products they are making, because in Japan the space is very less. Their rooms also very small rooms they are using. So many innovative thinking they are doing. So let us see how they are doing this. If you look at this particular figure, what you can see here, can anybody just talk to this? Are you hearing me first of all? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Nobody is just responding. I am just only lecturing. You may not be, audience is not that, I don't know. Okay, this, you see, simply if you
We
look
are
at that.
advised to mute our microphones.
Okay, good. And at least when I ask something, you can just reply. Can you see this? What is this? Okay, doesn't matter. I will just explain it. This is a Q. The letter Q. It looks like a Q, is it? So, one by one, in this Q, let us say this Q stands for quality. Okay, the letter Q stands for quality. In this Q, there is a C. So this C is the cost. So if you look at the cost, our product should be cost efficient. That means very less cost. Quality should be very high. Now, there is also a D inside there. So this D is the delivery, time to marketing, TTM. Time to marketing should be as fast as possible. Also in detailing, we should do that. Sorry. So all these three, C, D, and Q, these three are the things which makes a Japanese product quite good. That means they are emphasizing more on quality. They are making things very fast, and they are also making things less costly, cheaper. Of course, nowadays Chinese products you can see very, very cheap, but the quality is not so good. So again, if I put it in this way, quality should be high, cost should be down, and delivery time, faster delivery. That means time to marketing should be very high, very fast. So for this, we are using DFMA, Design for Manufacturing and Assembly. This technique we are very much using in product design. Acronym of DFA. DFA stands for A for what? Design for assembly. A is assembly. Design for assembly. Importance of DFA. Just now we have seen if you have many parts, assembly will be time consuming. If it is not foolproofed or operator proofed, it can be revised. Then reworks are required. So design for assembly is very important. So what is this is, before you go for assembling, we will go for a DFA. We will call from all the departments, people, they will think together and they will come out with a good solution, how to assemble, what type of fixture they have to use, or whether we can combine 2 or 3. So from the manufacturing section, from the quality section, from the design section, from manager level, they will meet and they will come out with a DFA. All the latest informations will be applied here. It aims to reducing the part count in assembly, thus improving the efficiency of design, making assembly process easier and less time consuming. Aims are given here. Same thing, it just repeats. Here, the material selection. Suppose if your material is not selected properly. Say for example, the base is an aluminum and the top is a plastic. What will happen? Because of the thermal expansion, difference in thermal coefficients of linear expansion, it will bend during some maybe hot season. It may bend like this, warp like this, and spoil. So we have to think about this type of possibilities, and your product should be modified. If it is required, your product should be modified so that it can accommodate that bending. So these are the things we have to take care. DFC is cost, of course. By reducing cost means you can change the material. We can make the number of pieces less, we can use modern techniques to manufacture, etc. Or you can go for high volume production. Design and cost. Design for cost. Cost, least possible cost is what we are thinking of. DFD, detail, design for detail and delivery. Detail means everything should be detailed so that people who makes it will be making it properly. And design for delivery, that means it should be faster. Your design should be able to produce those things faster and deliver to the customer as fast as possible. That is DFD. DFE, E is environment, or you can call it as efficiency also, whatever may be that letter. In this case, environment. Nowadays, environment is very much important. We have to take care of the environment. Like a global warming, like some substance like a lead, etc. we cannot use. So we have to, the government's rules for this will be there. Any manufacturing things, you have to work according to that. DFM is design for manufacturability. So this also is there. Suppose you are designing certain things which cannot be manufactured or which is not possible to manufacture, there is no meaning in that. So DFM also should be done before you complete or start producing a thing. Design for manufacturability, we will elaborate little more. It is coined by assembly to improve design components with reference to material, processability, achievable accuracy, minimum economic quantity, cost, robustness, strength. All these things we have to take care of it during the manufacturing. And what is this X? Design for X. This X is a particular, actually it is not X, but we are just making it as design for X. Let us see. X, I am using it for excellence. Even though the spelling is not correct, X is for excellence. Ultimately, we are going for doing the design for excellence. So that is why we are thinking about all the other things are because for this particular thing, design for excellence. Or this is what is called world class. So world class design is design for excellence. So if you look at this definition of design for A to Z, we can name it A for whatever assembly, B for beauty, C for cost, D for delivery, E for efficiency or environment, F for something and all. And if you come like that, the total sum of A to Z can be designed for excellency. So this is only a symbolic representation. Anything you can, Y for yield, Z for something. So like that we can think of things. So anything you have to design, you have to think for A to Z also. Everything we have to, you should not compromise any one of these things. If you are going to compromise, we will be landing in problems. Now, I'll just go through fast. Design for X is design for a assembly, cost, delivery, environment, manufacturability. So all this, all the sum. Not only this, everything is there, but main thing, these are the things normally we are considering much. Mutually consistent, and it is mutually something should be there or it will be interlinked. So we cannot segregate one from the other. And which is the most important DFX? Finally, we can say it is designed for cost or something, because we have to compete in the market. So if you want to survive, you should always think about design for cost. The cost should be less. Of course, you cannot compromise the quality and the delivery, other things, but the cost should be less. So what is the primer for process information map? So that is primer, process information map. So before we start making any product, we have to go for a process information map. So how many processes are there? Roughly, I will just go through very fast. There are many processes. Casting processes are there, roughly around 9. It may be more than that also, but mainly we are using. Plastic and composite processing, also consider 9. Forming processes, 12. Machining processes, 9. Non-traditional machining, 7. Assembly processes. Hello? Joining processes, 60. So if you see, total around 65 processes are being mentioned here. Casting processes, many are here. I have just listed it out. Sun casting, shell molding, gravity die casting, pressure die casting, centrifugal casting, investment casting, ceramic mold casting, plaster mold casting, fuse casting. So a designer should decide if he is going for a casting, what kind of method he is going to use. Plastic and composite processing, we have so many. Here I have listed around 9, but still more may be there. So a designer should be thoroughly known to all these processes. Then only he can decide what kind of process he has to select. Forming process also, there are many. So he should select from whichever is required. He should select the least costly one and more efficient one, which can be done very fast. Machining process also, we have many machineries available, lathe machine, milling, drilling, broaching, reaming. So we have to select the proper. The non-traditional machining, I think the next chapter, I think you will be learning more about this. Electrical discharge machining, ECM, EBM, laser beam machining, chemical machining, ultrasonic machining, abrasive jet machining, etc. In the assembly, there are manual or flexible or dedicated assemblies. 3 types are there. Joining, there are many. Tungsten inside gas welding, we call it as stick welding, MIG welding, MMA, manual metal arc welding. This I think everybody knows. We are seeing everywhere. Arc welding, submerged arc welding, electron beam welding, laser beam welding, plasma arc welding, resistance welding, solid state welding, thermite welding, then again gas welding, brazing, soldering, thermoplastic welding, adhesive bonding. So many things are there in the joining process. Then if you see the product, we should also see the tolerances. If you give more tolerance, the cost of the product will be very high, because you have to use very high precise machineries, which the machine hour rate is very high. So we have to go for an optimum one. Some of the process capability chart is given here for compression molding, how much it can be achieved. Forging, how much tolerance is possible. If you look at the bottom here, as the dimension increases, the tolerance will be more. We cannot make, suppose if your part is only 100 millimeter, if you can make 0.1 tolerance, and if it is 1 meter, you cannot make 0.1. It will be 1 millimeter, something like that. It will keep on increasing because of many factors like thermal expansion and all, or machining inaccuracy, etc. Heat metal process also I have mentioned here. we don't have much time to explain again. As the dimension increases, the tolerance also will be more. So a product designer should constrain to this type of principles. Here drawing and bending, another processes. Training and boring also is, I have just mentioned. Some of the application examples. See, if you look at this, we have two parts being assembled by screws. If you see the principal one, that is to reduce the parts, we can redesign this way, single part. That is only one, just an example I have shown. One more I have seen, that is in the cars for the future. Manufacturing industry, automobile industry, it should be safer, lighter, more economical, comfortable, eco-friendly. All this we have to see when we design a car. So those who are in the field of automobile engineering, they have to go and learn every aspects of this, how to reduce things. This is the front and rear crumble zones. So if you are driving and if you are hitting somewhere, you can see the front. If you are hitting to other vehicle from behind, your bonnet, everything will be damaged, but you will be safe. So that the designer will make sure that the front portion can crumble easily, but the center portion will be stable. This is because to protect the people inside or the passengers, and the load will be taken by the front or back. That is, it will get slight, all the load will be taken by them. So, but of course, the car will be damaged. So if you see the plastics, I'll just show you many things we have to consider. Polymer, product, process, performance, profit, post-consumer life, etc. Polymer means, I think you know, it is a plastic polymer is from the molecules. Its properties are important. The pillars what we are using inside the plastic is important. Fiber, additives. Additives are giving more strength, etc. Or color, compatibility of the color. Second is the product. What type of product you are going to make, where it is being used. Suppose you have a car and you are parking every time outside, and if your tail lamp, headlamp, everything is tail lamp, especially the red tail lamp will become yellow after 1 year. So because it is prone to nature. So that time you have to take care of this type of plastic products, pellets, etc., colorant, assembly techniques, etc. What type of process we are going to use? I don't have much time, so I just go through. Performance. Different plastics have different performances. High performance engineering polymers are very, very costly, whereas normal general purpose like a polypropylene, polystyrene, etc. is very, very less costly. Of course, according to the property what you want, you have to select out of this. Profit. How to increase the profit? You have to consider reduce the material cost, reduce the mold cost, machine, energy cost, labor, all this. Suppose you are going for a very high volume production, like the last one, your cost of the product will be less. That is what this graph means. So suppose you have only very little products or 5,000 components, like a prototypes, you should not go for very high-tech type of operations and manufacturing things. Post-consumer life is recycling, environment, sustainability, regulation, all these things we have to take care. So nowadays, we are thinking of recycling plastics, and they have found one fungus from Amazon that eats plastics. Yale researcher or somebody, they have found out certain fungus can eat plastics. So this is all researchers. So for a designer should be always taking care of all these type of things. That means he should be updated every day. He should go through and see what is happening in the world. So finally, a world-class product designer should always remember these things. I have listed it. First letter is T. T stands for technology. Q stands for quality. R stands for responsiveness. Response means when a customer is asking you to give some details, how fast you are responding to it. Nowadays it is less than 24 hours you have to give the answer. Responsiveness. Delivery time. D. Time to marketing, very important. Cost. If you look at this, many of the world-class companies, they are thinking, this is I have taken from Hewlett-Packard. Their principle is TQRDC. Cost is last. So they don't care if the cost is slightly more, but all these things should be taken care. And the last one is environment. This is not last, but everywhere we have to take. When you are considering technology, quality, all this, everywhere environment is involved. So all these wordings, technology, quality, responsiveness, delivery, cost, and environment should be there in the mind of a world-class design. With us, I end this session. If you have any particular doubts or anything, I can spare maybe another 5 minutes because already we overshoot 1 hour.
Hello, sir. Myself, Naveen. I'm from Thokich
Yes.
Institute of Science and Technology. I
Yes.
work as an assistant professor. So I've been handling this design papers for the past few years. So you were discussing about the reduction of parts, and also later on we mentioned about the modular design and DFMA. So actually these days people are going for more modular and assembly based design. So why do we suggest that reducing, like the example you quoted was a three piece clip which could be converted into a single piece. So only in such cases the number of parts need to be reduced, right? In other cases,
yes.
always you can go for modular and assembly based.
Correct. Modular means I have not told modular, whichever is convenient to you. If you find that modular more modules are good for future, maybe for your maintenance, etc.
Yeah,
You should
replaceability.
think about that. Yes, you should think about that itself. That's a good question. Yes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. That's all, friends. So let me thank you all for this session. Hope you have enjoyed. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jyoti Engineering College and its organization.